Now, it's Pace of Play.
Come on, Glenn! Come on! Get your head in the damn game!
Putting the boys on the clock.
I guess we're playing for keeps now.
The fuck?
All right, welcome back, everybody, and you heard it right. Another Pace of Play with Lee and myself. We also have our mic left open for Marius in case he wants to agree with me, of course, most of the time. But Lee, let me kick it off this way. You know, we talked about redos on all of our great golf courses here in the country that I'm getting a little fed up with. It's carried over to the European side. The R&A has decided to tweak the world-famous road hole, number 17 at St. Andrews, in preparation for the 2015 Open. You know what they're going to do? They're going to widen one bunker near the green a half a meter. You're talking about 2 feet, okay? And they're going to crown the green a little bit more. This hole has stood the test of time. Why are they even bothering with this? Not going to make a difference, I don't think, to the players. And to me, it's just giving somebody work for no reason. Leave well enough alone.
Well, first of all, I mean,
stupid.
If we're giving anybody work, I think that's great. You know, there's more jobs needed everywhere.
Well,
so
that's
I don't
true,
want to get off on
yeah.
a political tangent. I think this is a great idea. And I think it's great all the time to whether it's a new golf course that or an old golf course that maybe technology has outgrown. This isn't the first time they've touched the 17th hole or the road hole. They brought in the rough on the left to make it a little bit tighter. They have data, you know, just like we do, ShotLink data to how many balls over time that bunker is captured, and they want to increase that amount. They play practice events there all the time. I mean, how many European Tour events are there during the year that if they get it wrong right now, they'll make the change and and improve it again for 15.
Well, I think it's carryover because they've tweaked some of the holes on most of the other courses in the Rhoda, so they figured, okay, we're going to do the road hole at St. Andrews. I don't know. I just don't think it's going to make that much of a difference.
You just wanted to hear yourself say the word Rhoda. That's all.
I love Rhoda chicken.
More and more players from the European Tour now are committing to the PGA Tour. It almost seems like every day, as we said at the opening of the show, which has put major concerns into the executives, George O'Grady being one as the chief executive. What can the European Tour do to keep this from happening?
Real easy, improve their food. You go to some of the golf courses throughout Europe. I mean, the food is horrendous, number one. But seriously, they've got to come over here. Best players in the world are on the USPGA Tour. The best golf courses in the world are the ones they play over here during the season. And more importantly, these guys win more money over here than over there. So it's pretty difficult to blame these guys for wanting to bettering themselves, both professionally and as far as their family.
Well, and I agree with you, but let's talk about 2 weeks ago. This kind of contradicts your argument that you wanted to pay these players to come over here. That you said 2 weeks ago, which I said we don't need to do that. They're coming over anyways.
Not all of them, though. Not all of the ones that you'd like to see over here and play.
Who do you want?
I don't know.
Lee Westwood's over here. Rory McIlroy's here.
True.
Luke Donald's over here. We had 7 of the 12 Ryder Cuppers were already members, and now Martin Keimer and those guys are added to that list. I mean, I think on the things that the European Tour are struggling with is they lost 4 tournaments due to sponsors.
Yes.
So money is tight, and the argument is that there's more tournaments going to Asia, so that there's not as many tournaments in Europe, so the travel schedule is a lot more difficult.
It's going to be a big burden on the European Tour to see what they come up with, and I think the only way they're going to entice them really is by having better purses and maybe some bigger venues. And speaking about,
you remember Greg Norman a long time ago talked about a world
tour. Absolutely
and it's
right.
almost cycling that way.
Yeah. Anyway, let me get your view on this. There are still a number of clubs in the United States, despite the Bolden action that Augusta National took a couple of months ago by letting 2 women in as official members. There are still a number of clubs in the United States that are male only. And when the PGA Tour, the USGA, goes there and looks at these courses for a potential tournament event, if they know that they are men only, chances are they are going to pass. And this just happened at Butler National. They were looking at getting a tournament in a couple of years, and the membership just overwhelmingly voted down the possibility of women joining the club. And I think, in my mind, I think the USGA, the PGA Tour, or whatever, should overlook that. If they like the venue enough, they should use it. It's a private club. They could do what the hell they want, and I think it's unfair, that particular facility. Live with it. That's the way it is. It's their business. They have a right to do it.
Well, I agree in one sense that they absolutely have the right to do it. Butler National, clubs down in Houston, clubs all over the country have the right to be all males, just like Curves has the right to be all female. I'm not allowed to go in there and work out. But at the same time, I think it's more than fair for the USGA and the PGA Tour. It's a political thing. It's a social agenda that they have the opportunity to not go this route and get the Martha Burks of the world to politicize a golf tournament. And so I think it's completely fair. And the USGA is withholding a U.S. Open. The PGA Tour is the one that has substantial amounts of events.
Yes.
That they're not going to go that route. They took it away from Butler National back in, how long ago was that? And took it to Cog Hill, that Western Open.
Yeah.
So I think it's completely fair what they're doing, but at the same time, I think a private club has the right to do whatever
absolutely.
they want.
You know what? With the tour and the RNA and with the USGA, I'm just sick of this crap with the the PC, the politically correct type of thing.
It's only getting worse.
It's only getting worse.
Politics
Yeah,
on
unfortunately.
Hey, let's take a look at. We're after the 2012 season. We had a long stretch over the last few years of people winning majors for the first time. So now that we're after the 2012 season, who is the best player in the world that is yet to win a major?
That's a very good question, and I was giving this about a couple of minutes of thought. I really was, and it was I don't know. I've got to toss up. Lee, honestly, between our homie Adam Scott and Lee Westwood, between those two guys.
Yeah, I'm with you. I threw Luke Donald in the mix.
And Luke Donald,
as somebody that
Steady Eddie, a walking ATM machine, fabulous player. I don't know. Those three, it'd be a hard pick.
Yeah, that has that has played solid golf, have risen to number one. I'm probably going to go Adam Scott.
I'm going to go.
And the reason I'm going to go Adam Scott,
because
I think
he went to UNLV here. We know why you're going with Adam Scott.
That's not it. Westwood, I think, probably has the credentials to go that way, but Westwood's getting a little long in the tooth, and I hope that he wins a major. Obviously, we share a first name, which is why I would probably root for him anyways. But and probably a similar body type. Adam Scott, with the talent that he has, the golf swing that he has, I think he's the most talented and best player.
Well, I got to disagree with you, Turkey Breath. I got to go with Luke Donald as far as steadiness. Again, a walking ATM machine as far as getting the job done. Very, very consistent player year in and year out. I've got to give it to Luke Donald. All right, let's get into we talked about this a little bit on the show. If you were to have the opportunity, Lee, to change one rule on tour, and I could think of a whole bunch for next year, what would that rule be? What would you like to see changed?
This is no doubt. First of all, the first rule that I would want to change is guys playing practice rounds like Stuart Sink and Jim Furyk have to play with their hat off. So as to make sure that when they take their hat off, it doesn't look like a light bulb. They need to tan those bald heads.
Yeah, but it's good for sunglass sales.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, seriously. The rule that I would love to change is the call-in rules violators.
Yeah.
It drives me absolutely crazy that somebody sitting on their couch can see something that happens and call in. I'm a proponent of getting it right. I'm a proponent. We had a big controversy in the NFL on Thursday with a play that was allowed to stand that wasn't the right call.
Yeah.
I'm a big proponent of getting it right, but I don't like people at home getting to officiate a golf tournament.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you, and my change would be the cut rule. As you know, the majors have their own set of rules, if you will, when it comes to cuts. The PGA Tour has their own set of rules as far as making cuts in tournaments. In the World Golf Championship, of course, there is no cut. I say let's get those uniform. Let's do one rule so we don't have 3 separate cut rules. Very simple to do. It's a very simple thing to do.
Yeah,
that would be the one I would change.
Yeah, I'd have to think about that a little bit. But speaking of the NFL, we just brought it up a little bit. We're halfway through the season. We always are just over halfway through the season. Who's your pick, man? Super Bowl.
Boy, I'll tell you what. I'm going to pick a surprise this year, and I know one of the people in studio is going to love me for it, but I got to go with the Houston Texans, man. You know, everybody's going to say, I know what you're going to say.
Well, yeah, you know
I don't think
exactly.
it was that bad of a call. Give me a break, but I know what you're going to say.
I'll tell you, the Houston Texans are roughed up now on the defensive side of the ball.
A little bit.
They've given up quite a few points over the last couple of weeks, which has brought people to worry about them. But their offense is deadly. The AFC, I think a surprise team if they get into the playoffs and get healthy could be the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, they are beat up all throughout the year. Well, he'll be back. He'll be back. That's what I mean of getting through and getting running backs back and that type of thing. But I don't think there's any question the Atlanta Falcons are primed to win the Super Bowl. A little bit of a homer pick there, but I got to take the Falcons.
Yeah, we're going to see. We'll see how it all works out. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of Pace of Play. Lee and I are going to take